My parents died when I was quite young. Matter of fact, I was 5. And my uncle, who was unmarried, took us over. I say over, I'm talking about my sister and myself. And he raised us up until World War II. Then he was drafted. I lived on Lake Michigan. We had these car ferries. So I went to work there in the summer months. And that kind of gave me a feel of what it'd like to be going to sea. And the draft, of course, was already going. Problem was, they didn't draft anybody until they got to be about 22. Well, here you are, you're 18, and there was no future in any job you were going to get, and I knew that we weren't going to go to college. So New Year's Eve, I think there were 5 of us decided we'd join the Navy.
William Charette worked for a year in a Navy hospital before volunteering for a combat position as a medic with the Marine Corps. On March 27, 1953, the young corpsman's unit was assigned to help retake an American outpost on a hill called Vegas, just outside of Panmunjom.
My company, which consists of 3 platoons, were in reserve at the time, and we were on this kind of a night patrol. We weren't going anywhere, it was just practice. And it was just turning dusk, and way off in the distance, you could hear the pounding. I had no idea what was going on, but this guy in back of me who had been in Korea quite a while, he told me, he says, "Doc, that's Vegas, Reno, and Carson area." And he said, "I can tell you right now that the Chinese are hitting it, and they're going to attack it." They overran those 3 hills, and they pulled us out of reserve to take them back. I think we got there about noon the next day. And I must confess, this was my first major combat, and it was pretty bad. The Chinese were in the trench line, they had taken it all. And when you see the sight of war, and you see Marines still hanging on barbed wire that are blown all to hell, you know this is not a good thing. The lieutenant who's in front of me, our Chenowitz, he says, "Doc, pass the word back. We're going to cross this rice paddy." And it looked to be about maybe 300 yards. And in the center of it was this stream. And he says, "When I hit that stream, you take off." So I passed the word back to the man and went right on down the line. And I know that he hit that stream and I started, and I nearly beat him across. And I'm not that fast, but just this was a terrible place to be because it was open to fire. But we got over there and we're laying there for a while until we get the whole platoon across, then we start up. And we had to stop because they were dropping bombs. Airplanes were dropping bombs, and somebody said that for every 100 pounds of bombs, you need 100 yards away from it. And they were dropping 500-pounders, and I'll tell you, I don't think we were 500 yards away because they literally picked you up and threw you down. But we moved up, and the point got up quite a ways. And that's when they needed a corpsman up. So I started up, and when I got there, there was 1 wounded. And I treated him as best I could, but by the time they started rolling grenades in on us, I straddled this guy. Well, he was in pretty bad shape. And I heard the grenade land. I didn't know where it was exactly, but I pushed my medical kit towards it, and it blew it apart. I don't know if that's what saved me or the fact I was so close. I really don't know. All I know is that at some point I couldn't see, and the next thing you know, I've got 5 wounded guys, and I have no idea how we're going to get them out of there.
Among the injured was a man so badly wounded that he could not be moved.
The trench was blown in. They were shooting it pretty good. And I was pretty young and strong at the time, so I told him, I said, "I'm going to stand up. You pass him to me, get somebody over on the other side to take him, and we'll just lift him over."
Exposing himself to enemy fire, Charette stood, lifted the man in his arms, and carried him through the onslaught to safety. Afterward, the Navy Cross he was intended to receive for the action was upgraded to the Medal of Honor.
When they came and told me they had moved it up to a Medal of Honor, I immediately went to our captain and told him, I don't want it. I didn't think I earned it. When President Eisenhower was pinning the medal on, and he said, Charette, they tell me that you're more nervous here than you were in Korea. Which wasn't exactly the truth, but in a way. You know, the cliche is that you're wearing it, and a lot of guys that should have gotten it didn't. And I must say that I think that's so true. A young kid, we were in a parade once, had a bunch of Medal of Honor recipients there. And he told me, he said, you know, my dad was in Vietnam and he was killed. And he said, I'm pretty sure that he should have earned a medal. And I told him, well, I wear it for him then. You know, you do a job. I did mine as best I could. And that's all I'll tell you.